Messina. I'm the Senior Vice President of Economic Development here at the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. And thank you so much for being here for our second quarter Global Business Council meeting. We meet once a quarter here at the Gwinnett Chamber. We've done this, I think, for 4 years now. And our goal is to share with our community our economic development efforts on a global basis. Partnership Gwinnett and the Gwinnett Chamber, we're about expanding our businesses. We're about recruiting new businesses, and we're about helping our existing business export and reach further for their sales and revenue. And we have a lot of partners in the room that assist us in doing that. So what I'd like to do is, as we always do, is go around the room and introduce ourselves. And the first person is actually going to be our speaker, but I'll let the Council General say just good morning real quickly, and then we'll go around the room.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kazuo. I'm the General. I came to Japan this year, and I spent over 1 year. And I cover not only the 5 states in Southeast, I'm always traveling around. Kindly enough, invited me many times. And also, the Gwinnett is the home of the largest travel here in the South. Thank you very much.
You go too far.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting us. Let me briefly introduce our company. Actually, Dasan USA has been newly set up in this Gwinnett County. This is the big company introduction. Actually, our headquarters name is Dasan Machinery Limited, which is located in Jeonbuk province in Korea. Actually, the company was set up on November 1st, 1992. And we currently have our official partner in Hyundai Motors. And also we got, like other companies, we got ISO 9001, ISO 14000 certified. And also, we have been continuously Hyundai and Kia Motors contractors. And also we got TS 6949 certified. And finally, October 2013, we have established a U.S. manufacturing facility here in Georgia. We're calling it 10 minutes from here. Okay, actually, our office was in Los Angeles, and we had moved, all the facilities in Atlanta now. So we are currently producing our parts for Lifers and 1911. So the Atlanta office will be our main office, main manufacturing facilities from now. Okay, this is the business scope we are currently doing. The first one is precision machine, firearms, auto parts, investment casting, tool monitoring, and cutting tools and others. Okay, this is the picture for our products. This is kind of smooth. Actually, our main business scope is currently we are manufacturing parts for 1911 and life parts. I think our company is the first foreign company here in Georgia, like the eastern part of the United States. Okay, this is our main parts, like the firearms parts. We are not manufacturing like the finished product. We are just manufacturing like the parts only, the pistol parts and life parts. So we can make, we are making like barrels, slides, frames for 1911, and also barrels and slides. Are you familiar with this coach like 1911 block? Yes, definitely. And life parts. We, as a business entity, we see great potential for life parts, the market here in the state. Our headquarters in Korea, they will see great potential here in the United States. Okay, like I said, making barrel, upper receiver, lower receiver, extension, trigger slide, that kind of stuff. Okay, this is the pistol parts. The same. We are making all different parts. Last time, it was June or May.
Okay.
Yeah, it was made. The chairman, Sherman, Mr. Nick, and also Bucky Johnson, Mr. Bucky Johnson, they visited our headquarters in Korea, and they already saw our factory facilities in Korea. Okay, this is the values we pursue at the moment. The principal center, ranging industry leaders, industry-leading technology, world-class quality, and 100% customer satisfaction. Especially this one is not easy to achieve, but our main goal, our ultimate goal for business, we should pursue 100% customer satisfaction. Okay, the global, actually our ultimate goal here in the state will be the globalized, true globalized form we are pursuing. Like I said, from local to global, this kind of things we have to choose. Like I said, global business is very important to economic development. About 1/3 of world GDP is generated by business activities. Actually, before we set up the manufacturing facility here in Georgia, our headquarters is only focused on domestic market. But like a couple of years ago, our Mr. King, our CEO, think that we have to be, pursuing our business globally. So that's why he finally decided to invest, investing huge amounts of money here in the United States. Okay, this is kind of the characteristics of the global enterprise. Those resources for global pool, capital, labor, material. So use the world as a school. Establish a worldwide presence in one or more places, but may go global by chance or desire, and pursues a global business strategy. Finally, to transcend external and internal boundaries. I think that's the characteristic of the global enterprise. So we want to pursue that. Okay, this is not the lecturing session, but this is just like a general thing. How globalization affects business. Globalization is a leading concept which has become the main factor in business life during the last few decades. Second, it affects the economy, business life, society, and environment in different ways. And almost all corporations have been affected by these changes. The third, these changes are mostly related to increasing competition and the rapid changes of technology and information transfer. Finally, to challenge these changes, we need to keep in mind various aspects of the main effects of globalization. Yeah, this is the same thing, like competition, technology, and information transfer. Same. Okay, so approach to the market. I summarize 4 articles for challenge section.
I can come back. Oh.
Okay, for challenge, succeeding in rapid growth market is very hard. And one size does not fit all markets. Policy has become more important and less predictable. And good people are hard to find. Actually, at this moment, I'd like to ask, we need so many people, in terms of factory workers, maintenance, the different areas. So, in reality, it's not easy to find those resources actually. So, we'd like to kindly ask you to, help to find, especially the HR, because human resources very important for us because we are newly set up companies. So we need, many, people. So,
well,
I highly appreciate it if you.
Mr. Parker, I can tell you this is a fantastic group to present in front of. And if you share a job description with me, I'll send it out to the entire Global Business Council. This group has a network that is vast and impressive, so we can definitely help
Okay, thank you so
And we're
much.
not going to charge you a finder's fee, right? Well, there's a staff coming here tonight.
Please welcome all the resumes, some stuff. They help for us. Okay, this is the final. Actually, our goal, we have to be globalized. The presentation is to show you a comparative advantage, not only of lower labor cost, but more importantly, diverse intellectual capabilities, growth and economic enhancement opportunities, and the ability to get products to market more quickly. Actually, the successful factor our company has been pursuing was the speed. Our Mr. Kim, our CEO, always emphasized that we have to get speed. For example, if one company, if it takes like a couple of weeks to get things done, our company has to finish like just a couple of days. That's our agreement, based on the good quality also. That's the successful factor at this moment. So speedy, expedite, I think Mr. Lee, could recognize that. Based on our factory in Korea, speedy is everything actually. Okay, this is, that's it. Yeah. And as you can see here, the newspaper article, the Gwinnett County was here is the chairman. This is Nancy, Dr. Johnson, Mr. Nick. They all visit our factory. And here, Dasan missionaries to create more in Gwinnett County from now. So initially, we invested $20 million to see their growth. Our headquarters, they will see this is our manufacturing factories in Gwinnett County should be the hub. So we will continue to develop our business.
Mr. Park, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll stay after if anyone has any specific question for him. Comments that I would like just to make is Mr. Kim, who's the founder and CEO, who has visited many times, and Jin No, who is the U.S. president. They have been incredible. They were incredible hosts when we were in South Korea at their headquarters, and the evening of the event, the announcement and the tours of the facilities, they took us out for a traditional Korean meal. It was wonderful, incredible hospitality, kind of a historic area in their town. It was wonderful. Thank you very much. The two things I wanted to say is with regards to the actual company tour. As we were going through the process, we ended in the QC, quality control. And so I thought I was not asking the question properly or the language barrier. And I said, well, how many parts do you QC? 10 per thousand, 1 per thousand, whatever the number is. A common question in manufacturing. And the question, people, they kept saying, we inspect every part. And I'm like, well, come on, not everyone. You don't inspect every part. Literally, they inspect every part. So I literally, Americans, you start asking the question louder in English. How many is Mr. Park was being so patient. Nick, Mr. Nick, we inspect every part. So I was very, very impressed with that. And thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. I thought it was very interesting. Yeah.
Where's the facility located?
Chattahoochee Drive.
2400 Chattahoochee Drive.
Right in Duluth. It's kind of this little street you may have passed 5,000 times on Main Street Industrial. It's kind of a little connection street. It used to be the headquarters of Aspen Trans, and they moved to another location in Gwinnett County. It was available. One last thing is I thought your presentation at the end, a couple of slides, was interesting about globalization. And it made me think literally as you were speaking how globalization is affecting Gwinnett County. Our population today is about 860,000. And 25% of our population was born outside of the United States. I mean, if there's not a better example of globalization than Southeast, I'm not sure where it is. So let me throw out this interesting stat. In 1980, Gwinnett County's population was 166,000. We now have 1/4 of our population is born outside of the United States, which is a much larger number than what our entire population was in 1980. So I think that's a pretty good proof point for you. And thank you very much for being here with me.
Today I'm going to speak about the abenomics. Perhaps many of you know abenomics. Abenomics is the name of the new Prime Minister Abe's economic policy. And he came to power just 1.5 years ago. And he literally turned around the Japanese economy now. This is the second picture. Okay, this is the first picture. But abenomics is composed of the 3 pillars, three arrows. 3 arrows with 3 major policies. And before that, I want to share with you the very negative assets which Mr. Abe inherited from the previous government. As you may know, Japan has been facing deflationary economy for the last 20 years. And also now the Japanese population is starting to increase, and also fast aging population. And just 3 years ago, we faced disasters caused by tsunami and nuclear accidents as well. So in that way, Japan has been suffering economically for the last 20 years. So Mr. Abe tried to address all these negative things which he inherited from the previous government. The first thing he did is the first arrow, this here, the bold monetary policy. He has injected a huge amount of money into the financial market just to combat the inflation. And he set price stability target. We call it the inflation target at 2%. This is same as the United States target. And to achieve this 2%, the Bank of Japan introduced quantitative and monetary easing. That means injecting, giving a huge money into the financial market. And this, since we, as far as today's economy is concerned, is very successful. And the Japanese stock market rising, and also the yen rate is coming back to the normal level, that is 100 yen for 1 dollar. And the government will continue this policy until the government achieves 2% inflation. The second arrow is the fiscal policy. That is injecting the money to the public works, just to stimulate the economic activities. And the Japan government put forward already 2 big economic stimulus packages here early 2013 and this year as well. In that way, injecting money to the financial market and public works as well. So, but this, the first policy, first arrow and the second arrow are the easiest one, because we can simply give the money available to the market. Not very easy. But the third arrow is the most challenging one. This is about the growth policy. The Japanese government should tackle the kind of structural reform and also decompose the vested interest group in Japan, such as the agriculture and business function. So here there are four new policies here. Promotion of investment. This is quite obvious that Japanese companies are still very reluctant to make an investment in Japan. And they're going to either the United States or Asia for investment. But we like to invite Japanese companies to invest more domestically. That is a policy. And the second one is human resources. Here I said the Japanese total population is decreasing. But if we can make the best use of the power of women and youth and the elderly people, we can have more labor force in the future as well. Particularly important is the women role. As you know, still in Japan, the gender equality is not as good as the United States. So we have to improve the situation regarding surrounding the working women in Japan. And third one is the new markets. New markets mean that not only the automobile but consumer electronics, but we want to create market which corresponds to the aging population issue, and also which has something to do with the medical equipment, and also the high-tech technology like IT and new renewable energies as well. So otherwise, Japanese economy cannot grow. So the fourth one is the global economic integration. And we are now negotiating a lot of trade agreements with many countries, and I will touch upon this later on. So having said that, what have we achieved so far? First, in terms of the inflation rate, what is important for us is that wages are now increasing. And this year, the companies and managers and labor unions agreed to increase the tax and increase the wages 2.22%, which is slightly higher than the previous year. And also the annual bonuses will be increased slightly. And this is for the first time in many years in the past. Because now, in the past, 20 years or so, the Japanese managers or companies are trying to cut the salaries to cope with the inflationary economy. But now, the companies are expecting that the inflation will come very soon in Japan, so they have to increase the wages. And particularly the Japanese labor force are also increasing, so we have to increase the wages to make sure that good laborers can stay in the companies. The second point is government has decided to reduce the corporate tax rate as well, just to invigorate their corporate activities in Japan. This is again the front-load implementation of the project, just to stimulate the public works in Japan. This is we're going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now designated the first 6 areas for special zones where Japan will deregulate the many rigorous rules about economy and trade, focusing on these 5 zones. 5 zones are very big. Tokyo comprises almost 30 million people, and Kansai comprises 20 million people also. So in these 5 zones altogether, that accounts more than 70% of the Japanese population. So, and we're going to open up these 5 zones for the total investment. This is the acceptance of foreign workers. Now the Japanese construction industry is suffering from the lack of construction workers. As the 2020 means Japan will host the Olympic Games in this year. So we are going to construct more facilities and infrastructure for the Olympic Games. And also, still the reconstruction efforts in East and Japan is on the way. So we need more and more construction workers in Japan. But Japanese young people don't want to engage in these workers. So we have to rely on foreign workers. as you know, Japan is a very homogeneous society, and we are now making a good balance between how the Japanese public accepts the foreign workers and also the need for the construction industry as well. So these are the very big challenges, but now the Prime Minister Abe has the majority in both houses, but he has a very comfortable political life in Japan. So if he wants, he can go through with any bills to the right. So I hope that he can succeed in pursuing all these very challenging policies in the near future. So, okay, this is the last part. This is the economic integration. As you may know, Japan is non-negotiating this TPP stands for Trans-Pacific Partnership. If concluded, this will become the largest economic agreement in terms of GDP, because we have US number one economy, Japan number third economy, and also Canada, Mexico, some others. So, and all these Asian countries are developing very fast. So, and when President Obama visited Japan a couple of months ago, the US government and Japan government had really extensive, intensive negotiations on TPP, and they made a good deal of progress. But I must say that both sides have some sensitive products. Japan has the agricultural products like beef and pork and milk as well, and the US has a automobile industry as a sensitive products. So we do need to negotiate more to reach agreement on this. But Japan is now facing utmost priority on this negotiation. But at the same time, we are negotiating other big trade framework. This is, I think, regional comprehensive economic partnership. We call it RCEP. And this is also very big in terms of population. It is the largest. If you conclude it, this will be the largest economic integration in the world in terms of population. So we have Japan, Korea, China, India. So almost half of the population are in this regional framework. And we are not negotiating. And also the Japan, Korea, China, FTA is now on the way. And Japan EU as well. But now TPP is the most advanced stage. And we hope that at the end of this year or next year, we will be able to conclude this TPP. Also, the outcome of the election in the United States this autumn is also very, very important. We are now waiting to see how the US voters react to this So, just I want to show you the name of the Japanese companies operating in Gwinnett. There are many, and they are all the big Japanese companies. As you recall here, and Toshiba, and Canon, Hitachi. All these companies are big names in Japan, and they are now operating here making the profits. And I'm really grateful for the support for Gwinnett County for these companies as well. Thank you.
Council Chair, thank you so much. Council General is not going to be able to say it at the end, so are there any questions for him or his presentation?
Sanaga-san, arigatou gozaimashita. I graduated from Kansai University and used to work for Dentsu Japan. How serious are you about getting women involved in these companies? I mean, what programs are now trying to encourage women to get involved?
Well, involving women in the Japanese economic activities are very, very important for two reasons. First, as I said, now the Japanese birth rate is 1.4. That means Japanese population continues to decrease for many years. So for that reason, the Japanese government is now very, very serious to give incentives for the working women to have a baby, and also for Japanese women to be managers or CEOs in the companies. And now I think the Japanese government is considering to give some incentives to the Japanese companies which hire more women and which promote more women to the manager level as well. For example, in my ministry, now the Prime Minister Abe appointed a lot of women as a Director General level, and excluding myself. I cannot be a DG anymore because my colleagues have only a handful of Japanese women as a director level. They all have been promoted to the DG now, regardless their performance. So I want to talk about disparities among negative disparities against the Japanese men working in the government. In that way, Mr. Abe is very, very decisive and very, very aggressive in promoting the working women in Japan. But what is, to me, the stumbling block is the men cannot change their mentalities as fast as the policies. So, but I hope that men like ourselves will change our mentalities very soon.
I have a program that I started at UGA, Gwinnett University, Vienna University, and Oxford University that might work for Japan. So if there's a chance for me to speak with you, I'd love to.
Yes. Please come to my.
Great question. And it's a dynamic that obviously the United States has dealt with. Hopefully, I believe we've done a great job. Woman, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that.
With the TPP,
Yes.
Because of the agricultural products that Japan is protecting, what is the chance of that being resolved, and how soon do you think that we can get to a conclusion on that agreement?
Yeah, that's very. I cannot answer this question. This is a very, very sensitive issue. And what is important is to look at the overall picture. If the Japanese government, including the Minister for Agriculture, they can judge that the overall picture is very positive to the Japanese economy, then we can convince the Japanese farmers, the Japanese farmers union to agree on PPP. And also, we want to look at, of course, all negotiating parties should make concessions, including the United States. So I think if we can say to the Japanese farmers, even the United States is making concessions in terms of automobile trade, then to make this happen, then we can convince Japanese farmers. I think that is sent to the United States, and U.S. U.S. Tier Minister Foreman wants to say that even Japan is making concessions in some of the agricultural products. They can persuade American lawmakers in Washington to agree with this. So I think it is very hard. Now still, the U.S. negotiators and Japanese negotiators and negotiators in other countries are looking at how their counterpart react to our provisions. But I think the negotiations are going on slowly but steady. So I hope that in the near future, Japanese side and US side and other countries will make more concessions to make this happen.
Great question, thank you. We're going to move on to the next item, which is, and we've already heard a little bit about the success of our trip to South Korea. you know, as your regular attendees, we travel typically on an Asian business delegation trip, recruitment trip, on an annual basis, and a European. We obviously just completed, just about 4 weeks ago, our Asia trip this year was 100% focused on South Korea. That's obviously been a strong partner of Gwinnett County's, Atlanta's, and Georgia's. We've had representation in country with the state of Georgia. You would know better than I would. It has to be 30 years. Somewhere between 20 and 30 years. Does that sound about right? You're not going to correct me if I am. He's a Gwinnett, by the way. It's so funny, she would never correct me. I know it's 20 years because I heard that 5 years ago, so maybe it's 25 years. But with that said, we have great representation, and UNI and the state of Georgia does a fantastic job. What we did, just in general, this is a good example of our trips. They're typically about a week. We departed. We were going to typically depart on Sunday, but that was Mother's Day, so I didn't want to get myself in trouble or any of our attendees. But we left on Monday. If you're flying to Asia, you were going to the future, so you literally lose about 36 hours of your life. You get it all back on the way back, as many of you know that travel west. We arrived Tuesday evening. Really, you just get acclimated, and then we start the next morning. And we go. This is what the trip looked like. Basically, got up in the morning, went to Kangnam-gu's headquarters to meet with the mayor of Kangnam. We were celebrating. We ended up going to lunch right after. And that was actually one of our historic Korean meals. It was very, very gracious. And we were celebrating our 5th year anniversary of our community of sisterhood relationship with the Kangnam-gu government. And we'd like to say, and the chairman knows this, is we were partners in sister cities with Kangnam before there was a song and the whole world knew what Kangnam style was. Kangnam, very similar to Gwinnett County 30 years ago, was much more rural, and now it is an urban, thriving place just like Gwinnett County. So we actually have a very shared history in regards to the development. And actually, being great news, the mayor of Kangnam, who was very gracious, just won her re-election. So we're really excited about that, and they're very strong partners. And we're actually working on some tourism opportunities with them. Sarah's here, who introduced herself earlier. And Stan just joined her, who is the executive director of the Sports Council for Gwinnett County. Did I do the right, is that the right title? Perfect. Awesome. So we had a lot of conversations when we were in South Korea about the Greater Gwinnett Championship, and we look forward to working on those issues. And also, just since I'm introducing someone, my boss is here, everyone, Dr. Dan Kaufman, the president and CEO. Just like Chairman Nash, when they found out the Council General of Japan was coming, they came running. So thank you so much to see him today. That great presentation. So finishing up with our first full day, we went to go meet with Megamart, which is a huge Asian, Korean-based but Asian retailer. We went and visited with their headquarters, working with them on to continue their success here in the United States. This is their U.S. headquarters, it's in Gwinnett County, and their first retail establishment. To share with you, they actually purchased their building. So they made a huge investment into Gwinnett County by purchasing, which if you've been around Gwinnett for a while, used to be the original Macy's. And then when Macy's, the Federated acquired Rich's, Macy's moved into the old Rich's building. So this is actually the original Macy's building that they're in now. And if you haven't had a chance to go visit that store, it's a fantastic store, but it's a great concept. And we're happy that they're here. Then that evening, we actually went and had dinner with the great folks at the Kangnam-gu Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, as you can imagine, like any chamber event anywhere in the world, a lot of networking and a lot of business ideas are being exchanged. We're happy to continue. We've had that relationship for about 7 years. And actually, was what led into the Kangnam-gu sister city relationship. The next morning, we got up and we went to go see our friends to make the announcement at Dasan. It was an incredible tour. I had been in hundreds of manufacturing facilities, but I had never seen molten steel that was heated and being put into forms. Literally, we were 10 feet away. These guys were wearing giant steel aprons, and they were with us 5 feet, 10 feet away, pouring molten lava is what it looked like to me. But,
And I kept saying, "Hey, don't get too close, don't get too close."
Started taking pictures, Dave's like, "Hey, take pictures." I'm like, "I'm gonna put it on Facebook." If you follow me on Facebook, you'll know exactly what we did every minute of the day. But absolutely fantastic company, very impressive. Again, I already mentioned the quality controls in place, and we were made to feel very, very welcome. And we're very happy that you were here and chose Gwinnett County, which you had a lot of choices in North America. We're very happy you chose Gwinnett County Metro as your North American headquarters. We then, the next morning, got up and went to Ulsan, which is literally on the other side of the country on the coast, and went to go visit Hyundai Heavy Construction Equipment. Ulsan literally is what we quickly learned was the Hyundai city, this is the 15% of the ships in the world are built by Hyundai in their right there in their port manufacturing facility. Very impressive facility. We then went toward literally the assembly line of the heavy manufacturing, which they have their North American headquarters in Norcross, literally in the city of Norcross. They moved there about 3 years ago from Chicago. And so if you think about Dasan, they first went to, I think it was LA. Hyundai first went to Chicago, and that's a usual pattern. Is these large companies go to the top 3 or 4 largest cities in the United States, and then learn how great we are to do business, how great the taxing environment is, logistically how great things are in Metro Atlanta with the airport, the ports, and it is not uncommon for people's second choice to be Metro Atlanta, and then obviously that's a great choice in Metro Atlanta, as we all know. And so we went there both to thank Dasan, right, and also to thank Hyundai for choosing Gwinnett County and the city of Norcross as the North American headquarters. And the things that we do, and it's kind of the magic behind the scenes, is Chairman Nash presents them with honorary citizenship in Gwinnett County. And that might seem trivial to some people, but it's a show. It's showing respect and welcoming them, and it has been very well received in the 5 or 6 years that we've been doing that. Mayor Johnson, who was not able to make it join us today, gave them a plaque to welcome them. The city actually gave them the key to the city, which is a very American or East-Western thing to do, is to give the key to the city. It was great. It was well received. Then we went and had dinner. We went down to Busan, which is the 2nd largest city in South Korea, and had dinner with the Chamber of Commerce there, and lots of business networking took place. And then we got on the evening train and went back to Seoul, wrapped up our trip, and flew out on Sunday. So that is a typical trip. That one was typical, maybe a day or 2 shorter. When you fly 14 hours over to Asia, you might want to stay a day or 2 longer. But we were, when you're dealing with very, very important people like Chairman Nash and my boss, Dr. Nick, they got to get back and attend to all the other things they're responsible for. So that was our trip. Any questions about that trip? And I'll share with you before I open up again, sorry for questions, is we are very focused on 4 main countries in Asia, and it won't be a surprise. Japan, which we have over 80 businesses, non-retail businesses in Gwinnett County. And actually, if you include retail, we believe that number is closer to about 125 businesses in Gwinnett County. And in most every one of these categories, Gwinnett is typically the number 2 next to Fulton County, which makes a lot of sense. Fulton County is 3 counties combined. It's a huge, long area. It also has downtown Atlanta, midtown, Buckhead, Perimeter, Alpharetta. So there's a lot of business in there. So we're typically number 3. So my assumption is, I think I'm pretty, it's an educated guess, is Fulton County would be number 1. In some situations, and Charles and I have never been able to figure it out, is with Italian countries, there's more Italian companies in Gwinnett County than any other place. We don't really know, but he thinks it's because of me, but I don't take any credit for it. It's because we have Ippolitos, it's fantastic. Then obviously South Korea, China, and Taiwan. We have a tremendous amount of companies in those 3 areas. And then we work with, obviously we're more proactive and we're a little bit more reactive with some of the other Asian countries. Europe is where the majority of our international businesses are from. Trolls, as I use him, he can probably correct this number. It's close to 50% of our 600 international companies, and Trolls can go more into it. But any questions about our Asia efforts or our delegation trips? Yeah, it was incredibly thorough. Okay, where would you like to lead? Okay.
Morning, everyone. So I'm just here to give you a brief overview of what's going on the European side. So Nick mentioned, of course, our focus area is in Asia, and Nick is focusing very hard on attracting business and promoting that business in Asia. And I'm trying to follow his footsteps on the European side. For two reasons. I'm from Denmark, which means that whenever we typically have lost everybody in either soccer or war in Europe, so everybody likes us when we show up. And secondly, of course, a lot of our European business in Gwinnett County are manufacturing companies, and so it falls within my industries. And so for the past 2 years, we've been doing an annual global business mission to Europe with a focus on existing industry. In 2012, we went to France and Germany, and last year we went to southern Germany, Italy, and Switzerland. And the focus of these trips really truly are on existing companies. We have, as an example, we have over 100 German companies that are located here in Gwinnett County that have operations in Gwinnett County. And so a lot of these are family-owned businesses. They're small, medium-sized enterprises that have chosen Gwinnett County as their sole or their primary U.S. location. They have tremendous growth potential. And the way to convince them to expand is to go talk to the owner, because there is such usually a gentleman or a family who owns the company, and that family's name is on the door as well. And every decision regarding hiring, unfortunately also sometimes firing, is made in Germany or Italy or in Switzerland, et cetera, et cetera. So we go over there, we thank them very much for what they have done for our community, and we of course encourage them to continue their growth and expansion here. We've had some tremendous success stories over the years in Gwinnett County. I think the greatest one of all is Leica, which we visited 2 years ago, located in Finkenberg, just south of Frankfurt am Main in Germany. They started out with a small sales and assembly operation here. They originally were located in Long Island, which is probably the worst place to have a manufacturing facility. Just the only way to get your trucks out of Long Island is across the Goethals Bridge. If you've ever been up there, it's a pretty rough place to try to get a truck out of. But anyway, they were there. They prudently decided to go elsewhere back in the early 90s. And today we announced last year that they're adding another 300 jobs, and they're going to have over 1,000 people in their Lawrenceburg facility within the next couple of years. These are the kinds of success stories we're looking for, and Leica is not alone. Havas, a Swiss company, is a good example of another fast growth company. So in any case, last year, as I mentioned, we went to southern Germany, Switzerland, Italy. I was very grateful to be joined actually by Dr. Kaufman, by the Mayor of North Cross, Mayor Johnson, Mayor Swami, Mayor Burnett, and the Village CID. This year, we're going to be avoiding Germany for once. We're going to be going to the United Kingdom, primarily the London area, Sweden, and Denmark. And you might ask why. Well, the Denmark piece is really because, not because I'm from Denmark, but because Sweden is very close to Denmark, and we have a lot of Swedish companies. So let me just give you a brief overview of that. The trip, by the way, again, very, very grateful. Chairman Nash has agreed to join us this year. It's going to be a terrific opportunity to visit these countries. And actually, Mayor Johnson of Lawrenceville, just this morning, let us know that she's interested in joining us as well. Very,
come on, Judy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
I wanted you to say that. I was trying to be coy here. But anyway, just a few facts there, because people generally tend to think, oh, well, Sweden, Denmark, small countries, what about it? Well, just to give you a brief overview, the United Kingdom, one of the largest economies in Europe and indeed the world, they have, give the numbers right here, 28 companies in Gwinnett County are from the United Kingdom. Sweden, 27, with about a fifth of the population of the UK. The Swedish companies in Gwinnett County account for more than 1,000 jobs in this community. Some of the largest brands that you probably have heard about in Europe have offices here. Ericsson is probably the most well-known. Humatic technology company, Moonliga Healthcare, which is a life science healthcare manufacturing company. They have their America's headquarters here. So these are very, very large facilities that these Swedish companies have here. It's very important for us to go to Sweden. So a couple of quick facts on the trip. We'll be tentatively right now we're scheduled to leave on the 24th of October, return on November the 1st. This year I'm trying to see if we can go with a snow trifecta. We had snow every time we went to Europe. Last year we got caught in an actual snowstorm in Switzerland, which was a lot of fun. We're going to start out in London, visit with some British companies there. We're going to then go to Sweden, and then we're going to finish up in Denmark, really just in Copenhagen for 1 or 2 days. We are always doing this trip together with the Georgia Department of Economic Development. The department has an office in Munich that covers Europe, and they're managing director on jobs office, one of the greatest assets the state of Georgia has. She's simply an amazing advocate for the state, and she has joined us on a trip. She'll be joining us again this year. In addition to visiting with existing companies, I'm planning on somewhere between 7 and 15 visits total. So it'll be a rough week. You'll be sleeping well when you get home. We are also, last year we added another little wrinkle to the agenda, which is we started hosting Gwinnett dinners at the U.S. representations in the countries we're visiting. So we had a very fruitful dinner in Munich at the U.S. Consulate General's home there, actually. And then we also had a dinner at the U.S. Embassy in Bern in Switzerland. Those dinners are open, of course, to the existing companies we visit with. We also invite existing companies that may not be exactly on route. And then we also work with the city of Georgia to identify prospects that might be interested in expanding into the United States and invite them as well. So these are really, really good opportunities to forge new relationships with European companies and, of course, to build on the ones we already have. So those are a couple of the details. Of course, we invited elected officials from the jurisdictions where we have companies that we're going to be visiting with, and the trip is also open to partnership with investors. Just I know trivial concern of money, but the cost is estimated to be somewhere around $5,000 per person for a trip that lasts from the 24th of October to November 1st. And so, any questions about that? All right, well, look forward to giving you a recap when we come back on the other side.
Thanks, Chris. We're going to wrap up in a moment. I wanted to remind you that our dates are down on the agenda for the next 2 meetings. The Q3 is August 20th, Q4 is November 19th. So we look forward to seeing you there. If you have any suggestions for future speakers, agenda items, we're always open to ideas and feedback. So please, I'm Nick at GwinnettChamber.org. Don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I know you continue to give me a suggestion, which is make this at noon, so you can get up here. Sorry, we're going to keep it at the same time. He gives me a hard time every he sees me. So I do appreciate you getting up here this morning. You're awesome.
I'm with the Virginia Island Chamber.
You already had a meeting with them this morning, right?
Exactly.
Thank you very much for attending. Again, really, truly appreciate your partnership. And I'll tell you the thing that I can impress upon you, a good lead for Uni, for Trolls, myself, is if you know a company that's interested in expanding in the United States, if you know a U.S. Gwinnett, Atlanta-based company interested in exporting somewhere and they need assistance, we have lots of partners in the room. Any of us that I mentioned would be more than happy to introduce you to some of those partners. We're here to help Gwinnett, Atlanta, Georgia companies grow and expand, and we want to recruit more to have people share the distribution of all of the things we need to accomplish here in Gwinnett County, Atlanta. Thank you very much.